Mr. Jeter, District 1.
Here.
Mr. Tipton, District 2.
Here.
Mr. Hearn, District 3.
Here.
Mr. Bricky, District 4.
Here.
Mr. Mann, District 5.
Here.
Ms. Hood, District 6.
Here.
Ms. Kruby at large.
Here.
All right, everyone's here, looks like, and that's a good thing. Next item is to approve the agenda. We will amend it, so Ms. Starnes, if you tell us what the amendment would be to the agenda.
We need to add a line item for the data center resolution.
Okay. That'd be line item, what did you say?
We could do that as 9B.
9B. Okay. All righty. So with that, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Mr. Jeter made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Tipton, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is approve the minutes from January the 3rd, 2021, then our adjourned meeting, January 20th, 2021. So anyway, do we have a motion to approve both of those sets of minutes?
I make the motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Ms. Hood made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Ms. Kruby, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is our citizen expression period, and let me read this little statement. The citizen expression period is upon the meeting, and anyone who wishes to address the board or staff may do so. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name, where you're from in the county, or what organization you represent. The board may or may not respond to anything you say, but we will take everything you say into account when making future decisions. Please keep your comments concise and business-like. If no one has signed up to speak, we have no particular order. We just ask that you take turns and speak your business. Any action will be considered after we close citizen expression. So we are in citizen expression. The first thing I want to do is Mr. Grady Gilmwater. Come forward, please. I'll meet you halfway. How's that?
That sounds
Let me put my mask back on. I take it off when I'm talking so everybody can hear me, but let me put this thing back on and muzzle myself. When we do an award like this, it's an honor for me to get to do it, but to have someone that has had as many years of dedicated service as you have, so we'll go to the middle here, that way back.
Okay.
Let's see. But it's a good thing we can do this, and but anyways, present to Mr. Grady A. Gilmwater, appreciation for your 36 years.
36.
Long time. I've served to the citizen of Scott County as an employee of the Scott County Department of Public Works, January the 20th, 1985, to January 31st, 2021. So with that, mind shaking hands? All right. I say that Ms. Lisa wants to get a picture, so we'll do that.
You mind to take it out?
Yeah.
Put it back in when you get off it.
All right. Hold it first straight, so it'll be
That's
perfect.
right. You smile. Although you're smiling behind me. 1, 2, 3. Right here. One more time. That's the vertical one, too, just in case. All right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now you got time to go fishing and hunt or whatever you want to do.
I hope so.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Roger Carter is here. So Roger, if you want to come forward and then tell us what you're up to. We already know, but we want to hear it from you.
It's always good to be able to come when you ain't got problems, so that's a good day. Today is that day. So we just, on behalf of all three agencies, the Rescue Squad Association, we just want to thank the board and the work that the CARES Act committee put into all the stuff they've done this past year, with these equipment that they put in the field out here to treat patients with, new ambulances, which are sitting out here, and Lucas devices, which you can see them on the trucks. They're all out there too. We got the oxygen generator now. We can do oxygen in the county again, so we don't have to rely on somebody else taking care of that. A lot of PPE, things like that. These guys have done a good job on that CARES Act committee, and we just want to give them thanks and you know, we appreciate it very much. I don't know if Dave or Wendell's got anything they want to say. Mine's pretty brief.
All right.
But they're sitting out here if you guys look at.
Go on, Dick.
All three of them's pretty much identical, other than maybe the color scheme, paint scheme, or something like that. But you know, they're top notch. They're advanced life support units. All three, I guess, is down in service or close to it, so they're running calls. So we do appreciate it. You'll see them out and about.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we
I
really do.
really appreciate all that you do for those people with Black Gum, and you just
Oh yeah,
a real
I
asset.
seen good news for Black Gum.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
That's really good. They need it. They really do.
Well, the fire department's a big part of it too. I know we see some things on Facebook, social media about it, but I didn't recognize the fire department and the National Guard too. I should have. But anyway, thank y'all for doing what you've done, because those people are really, really appreciative.
We
I mean, they
do
are.
our best, do what we could up there, and you know, this time it's hard for us to get there, but we try to keep them in the water, keep them in their homes.
Well, hopefully we can get that thing started sooner than later, because it's been approved and the funding's been approved for it, so.
They need it,
hopefully
and I
they get
know they're
done.
appreciative of
Yeah,
it,
they
for
they
sure.
are. All right, thank you. Mr. Wendell.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good.
Good to see you. Roger spoke on behalf of the rescue squads, the three it's in association, and I'd like to speak on behalf of the fire departments. We appreciate what you've done for us. You spent a lot of money on PPE for us and things for us in the county. And we really appreciate it. We thank you for that.
Well, really need to thank you all for, what you do for our county. I mean, if we had a lot of people volunteering on summer paid in the rescue squad or whatever, but you are a great asset to this county.
Well, there's a lot of counties around that didn't get what we've got here from you all.
Yeah.
People need to know that.
Well, we get that training center down there built, and that's all been, working on getting it funded, so that's gonna happen too. So that's gonna be another big asset for the county. It's right on Route 23, so it's gonna be easy to get to, and so it's gonna be another,
Well, again, I thank you all on behalf of the association.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wanting to speak? Mr. David Gillen.
I was saying on behalf of the Scott County Lifesaver Crew, just like Roger and Wendell said, we thank you, but sometimes thank you just really ain't enough. And you can say thank you, but you really, I don't know what else to say. I just don't feel like it's enough at times, but we do appreciate everything that the county has done for us, because we couldn't have done it on our own. And I know without the CARES money, you all couldn't have done it. So from Scott County, we appreciate it, we thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? What I will do, we'll come out of citizen expression period, and we don't have anything to vote on or anything, and we're going to take a maybe 5 or 8 minute break, and we'll go out outside and look at those vehicles, and then we'll come right back and back in session. So with that, the meeting is temporarily adjourned until we go out, and we'll be back. 7, it's the Coalfield Expressway resolution. I know everybody knows about that road that's supposed to tie into West Virginia, come all the way into Pound on Route 23. It's been ongoing for several years. We have a resolution here before you. It will be designated Route 121, and so I recommend that we do this resolution. It's a resolution of support for this Coalfield Expressway. West Virginia has most of theirs finished, and so for whatever reason, the state of Virginia sort of drug their feet a little bit, getting it funded. It's a lot of money to get that thing done. And the only thing I wish they'd done different was come by the College at Wise, University of Virginia College at Wise. It'd come that way if it's coming into Pound on 23. So anyway, this road is very important, and if you read the resolution, what it stands for, what it is, hopefully it will be a help to get that thing done. So anyway, in discussion, if not, we'll need a vote here, motion to approve this resolution.
Mr.
In
Chairman,
discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
this resolution.
All right, Mr. Tipton has made a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Mr. Bricky seconds. Is there any discussion? Does anybody have any questions about it? Okay, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carried. Next item is item 8, and it's a resolution of non-support for the abandonment or discontinuance of those routes, portions which is 664, 667, 669, 672, and 673. We discussed that, about what would happen with that, and so if you've had a chance to look at that, I hope you have, about what we're recommending to VDOT. It's a resolution of non-support for abandonment or discontinuance of those portions of those roads. I'm not going to read that whole thing into the record. You see it in front of you. In discussion, if not, we'll need a motion on this
Just a real
resolution.
quick question, and Bill may know, I don't know. Do you have an idea where that, the Route 64, or maybe Mike does, the Route 64?
664.
Yeah, 664.
These are the same roads that you have looked at in the past.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit.
Yeah, I really.
And since then, we voted to go ahead and let them do the public hearings. But VDOT reached out and said that he has since learned that we can do a non-support resolution and we don't take any action. We leave them just as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is for that particular road's at. You know where that one's at?
That's the one that's going to be abandoned.
Is that the one, you go by Manville School and then go up
Yes.
that valley, you go to the end of it, and then go from there across to the Bellamy-Tipton Road?
Yeah, you go past the old Manville School to the top of the mountain to the ridge. Turn left and
Yeah.
go out that road.
Right.
It ends, where it's paved ends, and the abandonment, what they want to abandon, goes all the way down to Spears Ferry, to that road that goes across down there. And there's not been a road through there in years. There's nothing through there but woods.
So it's on top of the ridge?
It's on top of the ridge.
Okay, that's right close to where I was raised up at. Okay, that's what I thought.
That's it. It's at the end of the Bellamy-Tipton Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, up on the very top. So
Yes.
instead of going down, if you went to the right and went on out through there, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this mean they won't do nothing to these roads now?
Exactly. It would be just,
As it is
this
now.
conversation never happened.
Yep.
The last couple of times VDOT's been here and talked about these roads.
The reason I was asking is because they have been doing something with that road up there that joins on Ponderosa. They have been putting gravel on it, so, or that's what the lady said. You know where I'm talking about, Jeremy?
Yeah. Yeah, for a little ways down through there. I've thought about this a lot, and I've got some phone calls about it. So I think we need to leave them the same. I don't think we need to. I mean, I can't see the reasoning behind it. I mean, they already know that they're not going to be working them. They know that they're not going to be doing it. Why change it? You know, I mean, just to make, I guess, their paperwork easier, maybe, I don't know.
I think this is a much better solution than anything we've
Yeah.
seen before. This is
Yeah.
good.
So this, Frida, I mean, they won't,
It stays as is.
they won't have a public hearing about it or anything.
No.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? Not need a motion on this resolution of non-support.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll say it.
Mr. Tipton, second. Any other discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'm gonna say this now if I don't, I'll forget it. In the Little Wisco meeting the other night, they were talking about a road that goes from the High Chaparral to the High Knob, and it's a Forest Service road. And where the houses are, you pass the houses, they gate it, and it's closed in the wintertime. And it's a big issue for the people, especially on the Wise County side, the north side. They can't get up that steep part of the mountain from Norton, so they go through Tacoma, go up that way, and go through Sexton Town and go up, to the High Knob that way. Well, they close that road off. The Forest Service does. And so they were talking about, and they'll probably send us something about it, some kind of resolution or something to try to get VDOT to take that road over. Now, the Forest Service said they would give it up. That's what they said in that meeting, that they would give it up, but getting VDOT to take it into their system is a whole different thing, because they're not taking anything into their system. So anyway, if the counties get together on this, and that's what we'll probably do, we'll probably see something down the road that will try to encourage VDOT to take that into the state system and then maintain it. The road's a good road. I mean, I rode it, I bicycled it, but they closed in the wintertime. They got it gated off where you cannot get through there. So anyway, that's something that'll happen somewhere down the road when Little Wisco gets their ducks in a row on it, and they'll probably be hitting the counties up to do something with that, try to get VDOT to take that. Once that happens, then that road will not be closed. All those Forest Service roads, they close them in the wintertime because of it's just hard to maintain. They get in bad shape, they freeze and thaw and all that stuff, and try to keep the traffic off of it during those freeze-thaw period. We'll hear something probably in a few months about getting the Forest Service to give it up and VDOT to take it. So we'll see how that goes later on. Did I get that correct using the
Yeah, that's correct.
You and Marshall both were there, so I believe that was about what was said. The next item is item number 9, the regional jail resolution. We talked about a little bit about what we need to do with this. And this resolution, and talking to Ms. Starnes about what this will do, actually the General Assembly will be spending more, okay, there. And so I was kind of leery of it, trying to read this exactly what this means on this resolution. So anyway, Ms. Starnes, you want to address anything else about it or anything before we do anything with this?
The resolution just says that the Board of Supervisors is going to be in support of the House budget and Senate budget amendments. It will provide $10.6 million for the second year from the general fund, and that is the Commonwealth's general fund, to increase the per diem payments. Right now, they pay around $12, and the increase would be 18.75%, which would be about $225 more per inmate per day that are state responsible. And it also says that you're in support of the bills that would provide $90.9 million from the general fund, again, Commonwealth's general fund, to increase the starting pay and implement a progression program for deputy sheriffs and regional jail officers, which are both paid from the compensation board, not the county.
You have in your packet a little piece of paper there with the inmate count, and we're up to 50 DOC inmates that should be in the state penitentiary, and we're having to pay that. We do get $12 per inmate, and our part would be about $24 or something, I guess, what it's costing per inmate there about. So you can do the math, it's pretty expensive keeping those there. The reason they're not taking them, and I think, did you say they did move some out? Maybe
They
not
moved a
Scott
few
County.
last week, but I'm not, at the time of the meeting, they didn't know which locale they were from.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't they say the other day, Frida, that they was gonna start vaccinating and maybe they could start moving more, give them the COVID vaccine? At the
Yeah,
jail?
they'll do their vaccine and then quarantine them in a pod when they move them, and then once the 14 days pass, they'll be released into general population.
I know some might disagree with them being vaccinated before some of us people that but it's going to save a lot of money getting them out of there and getting them where they need to be. It'd be their responsibility instead of ours. We're spending a lot of money. We had a little discussion here back a few years ago. We had 29 inmates, or state inmates should be in the Department of Corrections, and so we seen that, and we got them to move most of them. And so anyway, I don't know why DOC have to force their hand to get them to take the inmates that they're responsible for. If they would reimburse the full amount of housing those inmates, would be one thing. We could house them, but then pay their part, but they won't. And so we've written letters to the governor, to our state delegation, trying to get their attention to move these inmates out. We cannot afford it. This is going to be a budget buster again for us this year. Because at the end of the year, when we budgeted the amount we did for the number of inmates, that number is going to go up because they're not taking them to the state penitentiary. But anyway, this resolution, it's a good idea. I think we should do it. Any other discussion? We'll vote. Now we need a motion to approve this resolution as presented to you. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Mr. Kirby made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Jeter, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We added item 9B. So, Ms. Starnes, if you will.
I believe it's in your packet. Let me double check. It is. It's on the RIPA letterhead. It looks like this. And it's an MOU that the Lonesome Pine Regional Industrial Facilities Authority would like for you to consider. They have been doing studies on the potential benefit and feasibility of having data centers located in Southwest Virginia. And this MOU is between Lee, Scott, Wise, Dickinson, and the City of Norton in agreement that we would charge a data center personal property tax rate of 24 cents per $100 of assessed value. And that is from legislation that was passed in 2020 that is specific for data centers only. This is not call centers or businesses that has computer equipment. It's for data centers specifically only.
Data storage centers.
Yes.
Okay.
And the depreciation schedule has been agreed upon by the Commissioners of Revenue in those same localities, and it's listed there on the MOU. And the benefit of this would be to try to lure or to court data centers to try to get them to locate in Southwest Virginia. Project Oasis was a study that was done on specific sites in Southwest Virginia, and one of those is located in Scott County. That would be an ideal fit for a data storage center. So this MOU is going to be presented at all the Board of Supervisors meetings coming up within the month of February, and you all are first since your meeting was the 3rd. So you're looking at it first at an official Board of Supervisors member meeting. But all the localities, Commissioners of Revenue, EDA, and county administrators have been involved with this MOU. And this is what was finally decided upon and agreed to by those people.
And we would probably vote on this in July, is that correct, to implement the...
You would pass the MOU today, and then when we set our tax rate in May, you would actually officially, it'll be a new line item or a new tax line item for the 24-cent rate that's approved at that time.
So this is the resolution of support that we agree with it. So then when the time comes, we'll set the tax rate for that. And I think it's a good idea. If it'll pull, businesses in, with the amount of equipment that they have, it'll be a good shot in the arm as far as make your job a little harder, Debbie, to do all of this. But anyway, it's going to be a good shot in the arm for our revenue.
And Ms. Godfrey, do you have anything that you want to add?
Right.
You moved on.
No, I just, I feel like it is a good thing if we can attract those businesses in. That would be extra revenue. So I'm all for it.
I think it's a good idea too. If we can do that through a tax incentive like that to attract that. And we do have an excellent site here in the county to locate a data storage center. So hopefully it'll be used. It's been a lot of work has gone on there. So anyway, it'd be a great place to have that. So hopefully it will happen.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it is. Anybody have any questions or comments for Ms.
I
Dawson?
think anything we can pull from northern or eastern Virginia,
Do it.
it's good. And with foot mineral sitting out there, it's a natural place to put something in.
Yeah.
And I think this is great. Good job.
very excited about it.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Stockton? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, on this this MOU memorandum of understanding, I think it's a good idea. You've looked at it. We want to make sure we get this right when we do it, but again, we set the tax rate later on this year. That's when it will officially go into effect. The other counties will see where we are on this, that we have this. If you look on the back of it, there's a place for all the signatures, all of the people that's involved, and so anyway, that will hopefully happen. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve this MOU.
I make the motion.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Hood made a motion and Mr. Bricky second. Any discussion? Not all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So I think that'd be good, and we will deal with that at the appropriate time. Item number 10. And Ms. Stardahl, again, I'll call on you to talk about this. I've got it here in front of us, I've read it, but if you want to just briefly tell us what this is and so everybody can hear it.
I've included notes about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act on your tablet. And it just explains what that is and the benefits that the federal government required localities to do for their employees. That did expire on December 31st. However, there's a Consolidated Appropriations Act that was adopted on December 27, 2020, and it gives you the opportunity to extend the leave benefits, but it's no longer required, so it'd be voluntary. And since the coronavirus and the pandemic has started, county employees have been paid for their quarantine time, or if they've been COVID positive, they've been paid for their time off without having to use their sick time. So at this point, I just wanted to get guidance from the board, whether that's something that you want to continue allowing the employees to do until March 31st. And one option to consider would be if, since the county employees have been offered the option of the COVID vaccine, if they have declined that, then they would be required to use their sick time if they have been quarantined. We can leave it where everybody's paid, or this could be possibly an option for those that have chose not to do the vaccine, but they would be required to use their sick time.
I think that's fair enough. I mean, if you take the vaccine, and this applies. If you don't, then we heard her explain that. So anyway, anything else, Ms. Summers?
That's all I have on it. I just wanted some guidance to see if you were in agreement to go ahead and continue paying the sick leave through March 31st. And of course, if it's a compensation board employee, you know, they're paid anyway.
Right.
They're just not using their sick leave.
Okay. I think it's a good idea. It's 2 more months of it, which is not bad. It'll help our employees if they get sick or if they're exposed, whatever. But anyway, any discussion? If not, we entertain a motion to approve this. And I do think it's a good idea.
If we approve it, the option would be added.
That's up to you. We can either leave it or not. I mean, if you want to just not require the vaccine, I mean, we can't require the vaccine, but you know what I mean.
I think the option needs to be added and then make a motion on that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right.
Well,
So you,
I think we need to leave it exactly the same until March, and then decide. Because I just, there's people out there that's had the virus that their doctors are saying that they can't. They're telling them not to take the shot at a certain amount of time. So maybe we should wait at least until March, then maybe look at it again.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
your thoughts, Mr. Bricky? That
Yeah, that's fine.
okay? All right. Any other discussion? All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this, as Mr. Hearn has explained what his thoughts were. So I think it's good. Okay.
And we can look at it again in March and see.
We'll put it on the April agenda, and we'll see.
Okay, that'll give us time to
Yeah.
put, see how the vaccine's doing,
And we never know what'll come from the federal government
Right.
between now and then.
Right.
So,
It
yeah.
changes daily.
We'll look at it again in April.
All right. That'd be good. I need a motion on this.
So,
You make a motion, Darryl? Okay. Get that muzzle on, couldn't hear you. All right, Mr. Jeter has made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Herron, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Let me say one thing. I have a niece lives in, or she's married to my nephew, and she had the virus in April, and she has it again. She tested positive. She's really sick with it, sicker now than she was the first time. So you can get it again. She has, and she was pretty sick the first time. She's really sick this time. And so keep that in thought. You may have, I had it, and they told me when I left the hospital I was immune, probably, maybe forever, but at least 4 months. So I will take the shot when it's available. I promise you I'm going to take it. So I encourage you to do the same. All righty. Next item, bookkeeping, item 11. Miss Amy is here, so if you would, ma'am.
Please appropriate $85,813.16 to Sheriff's Vehicle Replacement 31200-8001 for reimbursement received deposit in the Treasurer's Office, and appropriate $2,430.98 to EPA's legal counsel fees 8160-3190 for a refund received deposit in the Treasurer's Office, and that's all the appropriation.
I need a motion to make the appropriation as described by Ms. Vickers.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Tipton made a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Ms. Hood, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Please accept ASA 2025 Project Lifesaver Grant for Sheriff's Office. If accepted, please establish budget code for transmitters 31354-8203, and please appropriate $3,000 for 1/2 of the grant award received deposit at the Treasurer's Office.
Do we have a motion on making this grant request?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Kruby made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Tipton, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, ma'am. Next item, Ms. Tina is here to, on the appointment, so if you would, you got a lot to go over, so.
We have a packet of applications. The first one is for the CPNC board. We do not have any applicants.
Okay. Do we need to do anything different with that? I mean, I don't know, it's, Jeremy, you said they meet in the middle of the day, and it's, for working people, it's kind of hard to do. And,
Well, parents,
for the parents, yeah.
it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It, you know, since, you know, I've been on it a year, and there's never been a parent there. They're not able to, or you know, it's hard to find somebody. You know, I've even thought if there was somebody close, you know, if they'd be interested, but, and I don't know if the rest of the team would want to change the time or not. You know, that's another thing you run into, because they work too. All of them's leaving their job, you know, to come. Of course, you know.
They did change it.
But anyway,
We'll keep it out there, maybe.
Yeah, if
someone-
anybody has, they have to, you know, school aged children. You know, you don't have to be. You know, of course, it's if you don't fully understand what they do, it's about the foster parents and the foster kids. Well, it's about the foster kids in the county. That's not necessarily means that these kids are in Scott County. They could be anywhere, you know, like instance maybe Withful or Roanoke or something like that, wherever the foster family is. But it's still the county's responsibility to take care of that child. You know, we provide anything from education to health care, glasses, whatever that child might need. You know, it comes through this team. So, and you know, the reason you don't hear much about it is because we're not allowed to talk about it. You know, we spend 45 minutes, and there's nothing in that 45 minutes that we can share, except for what I just did. You know, so you know, it's very, very important. If anybody that has a child here in Scott County that would be willing to serve, we meet at 1:30 on it's the Tuesdays after our board meeting, so whatever that falls on.
All right, keep yourself to know someone I want to serve, you know, it's very important. All right, Ms. Tina.
The next one is for the Crooked Road Board. John Kilgore has been serving and he applied.
Okay. Do we have any nomination for the Crooked Road Board of Directors?
I'll nominate Mr. John Kilgore.
Any other nominations?
I'll make a motion, nomination cease and vote by acclamation.
Okay. Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Jeter, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
You have two positions on the Housing Authority field. Bill Owens, who applied. Randy Thompson did not. And you don't have any other applicants.
All right, do we have any nominations for the Housing Authority? It's a 4-year term.
Nominate Phil Owens.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll make a motion, nomination cease and vote by acclamation.
All right. Mr. Tipton made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jeter, second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on the second one, do we have any nominations for the second position?
I'll nominate Randy. He didn't apply, but I'll nominate him.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he'll do it.
All right.
He's been on it forever.
Yeah. And what was his last name again?
Compton.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll stop by and tell him I put him in.
You thought he was hat ring?
Yeah.
I say he'll appreciate that. Any other nominations? Not need a motion, nomination to cease and vote by acclamation.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Tipton made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Scrooby second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right.
Charles Bullock has been serving on the Planning Commission and he reapplied.
Have any nomination for the Planning Commission?
I'll nominate Mr. Charles Bullock.
Okay. Any other nominations? Not need a motion, nomination cease and vote by acclamation.
So moved.
Mr. Jeter made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bricky second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Motion carried.
You have 3 positions on the Recreation Advisory Board. So the first one, Ray Leonard, has been serving. He did not reapply, but he is interested in serving. He did not send in an application, but. there-
Ray, you said Ray Leonard?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do we have any nomination for this from District 2? Somebody nominate Ray Leonard.
I'll nominate Mr. Ray Leonard.
All right, Mr. Herron made a motion. Do we have any other nominations?
I'll make a motion, nomination cease and vote by acclamation.
We have a motion on that, Mr. Tipton, and do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Hood, second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the District 4.
Barry Wolf has been serving. He did not submit an application, but he is interested in serving.
Do we have any nominations for District 4?
I'll nominate Mr. Barry Wolf for the District 4.
All righty. Mr. Gribby nominated Mr. Whoop. Any other nominations? Any motion, nomination to cease and vote by acclamation?
So moved.
Mr. Jeter made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Herron, second. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And then another one, at large.
Position, Dexter Horman has been serving. He did reapply, and you have one other applicant, Emily Williams.
All right. Do we have any nominations for this at-large position?
I'll nominate Mr. Harmon.
Okay, any other nominations? Not need a motion, nomination cease, and vote by acclamation.
I'll make it motion.
All right. Mr. Chairman made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Kirby, second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next item is our county attorney, Ms. Kegler.
I don't have anything today. You all have my report. If you have any questions, be happy to try to answer.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Ms. Kegler? Last week, I think we gave everybody a scare. We went into closed session and we asked our county attorney and Ms. Starr to step out. It was good. It was not nothing bad. So I want to make clear that up because I know I even tried to get them to stay there and hide because I said it's going to make them think we're trying to fire our county attorney and our county administrator, but that was not the case. It was good news we needed to discuss without them being present. So it was nothing bad. All right. Anyway, do thank you for your service.
Thank you.
But anytime you do that, I mean, I would be the same way. I would be, what the heck is going on here, to do that. And I told her I would never, ever, ever ask her to leave closed session unless it's about her. So that was the case. And so anyway, it was a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing. All right. Ms. Starnes, item 12.
Item 12, the claims.
14, yeah.
Your green sheet in your packet, bright green, can't miss it. The general fund balance after claims, $9,181,324.37. As you can see, that's above where we were at this time last year based on the chart. Early claims total $253,036.43. We had two large ones that made up that total. BB&T Governmental Finance, that was the first payment on the new sheriff's vehicles, $120,576.91. And Dominion of Bedford, $71,045. That was payment for two vehicles that will be reimbursed for with the loan proceeds. Current claims, some of the larger ones, advanced disposal, $33,330.70, down a little bit compared to the other months. Bostic Tucker, that's for our audit, $37,500. Lonesome Pine Regional Library, $50,762.50. That's their third quarter contribution. Southwest Virginia Regional Jail Authority, third quarter payment, $552,513.31. So total claims that you need to approve today is $1,046,015.20.
The regional jail, are we gonna come out pretty good on that, or are we gonna end up on the way it's going?
At the point right now, we're gonna owe $500,000 for this year.
Can you imagine what it'd be if we didn't have that Scott service program in place? So, anyway, everything we're saving with that, we're giving it right back. These state inmates should be in the state penitentiary, we're paying it right back. So, anyway, it's like we get shot in the foot, we're not doing it ourselves, but anyway, it's just, we see a way to save money, it's like the state sees a way to take it away.
Are they about to open up and start having trials so Scott Services can get more in the?
Their opening plan was denied by the state, so they're having to redo some things with the plan that they submitted, so I'm not sure what the timeline is.
And I did ask that question about it is making our numbers go up when the folks were here running that program, they said it won't. That's part of it because we're not having trials. So anyway, that's a part of it.
Did we not send a letter forward to the Terry, our senator?
We did.
And have I heard anything back?
They were doing a combined letter to the governor. So that could be where the bills are coming through for the money, the additional money on the per diem. Our legislators aren't the ones that sponsored those, but they could have had some influence. I don't know that that's the case, but.
One thing I've noticed, our money in the bank that we've got is right at $9 million compared to the other years. Is that because of the COVID money that we have, or
The COVID money is not included in that.
not included in that? Okay. So we're better than we've been in a long time at this time of the year, so anyway, I'm glad to see that. All right. Need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Hood made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Mr. Ruby, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. But our general fund balance is better than it's been in a while, so thank you folks that are making all the differences. All right, miscellaneous.
Just one thing, I want to make a note that the courthouse lettering's being installed today. So
Good.
if you get a chance, go by and check that out. That's all I have.
Okay. All righty. Mr. Kilgore is here with the EDA, and our presentation by him will be next. And then Mr. France is here too. He'll be done in a few minutes. So, John, make sure. You want him to go first?
Yeah, he can go first.
All right. We'll let him.
Good morning, how's everybody doing?
Good, how you doing?
Going quick today, so that's good.
All right.
I'll wait for those to get passed out around before I start. Don't be frightened by the scary picture on the screen. I've got good news.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
No, I've got, that happened, but I've got, it's fixed, so.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. But,
Somebody needed a green.
it looks like one, yeah.
That or we thought it may be a putting green at home.
It's the cleanest vandalism I've ever seen. It's still vandalism, but it's,
terrible.
they might have a future in sod cutting, but, we'll start off with Keith Memorial Park. I know we've mentioned Scott program. Again, I'll have to tip my hat to them. I think they're supposed to finish up this spring up there. They're getting pretty close. I've been up there. It looks great. Between the bridge, the fence, the cabin. If you've not been up there, you know, when it gets warmer weather, I'd advise you to go. It looks great. They've done some great work. So I think we're kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel there. Matt was here earlier. I'm talking with Matt. I don't know if you're aware, there was a small theft at Keith Memorial Park in their storage shed. I'm going to go up there with Matt and take a look, see the feasibility of putting some cameras up there. It's a good idea if it's financially in the realm of what we could do. So working with them on that. Duffield Park, don't have a lot to add to that. I think last time I'd mentioned we'd done a fence repair there. You know, the softball fields, the softball teams down there use that heavily, so got that fixed for them. So that's all I have about Duffield. As far as the boat sites, you know, I think I mentioned this last time with COVID restrictions, they took off again. I'll always say that's probably some of the best dollars ever spent for the use of Scott. It was a very, very small investment overall, and those have been used way more than we ever could imagine when we first did those. I mean, that happened 12 years ago probably, and that's just really took off. And every year I think there's more and more people on those rivers on kayaks and floating, and that's probably been one of the best things we've done, I think, in my opinion. Unfortunately, you know, the volleyball season we weren't able to have. Basketball, I'm talking with Scott County Schools. Our normal time frame would be February, March. Right now we'd be starting basketball practice. Obviously with VHSL season changes with some COVID regulations, that time frame's just not workable for either one of us, for me or for the school system. But you know, I always want to explore every option. We may do some type of late season youth league if we can, like a shortened at the end of spring, maybe early summer. That's you know, I don't want to promise you about anything though. That depends on the climate of everything and how it's going. I do want to shout out though to Scott County Schools. They have been great partners. We couldn't do what we do without them. I'm kind of at their mercy with facilities, and there's some local churches too that work with me. You know, I have none of my own facilities as far as gyms and so practices and games, we rely 100% on the school system. So they are great to work with. Every principal, every school board member, the guys at the school board office, I really just want to thank them for what they do. They help make all of our stuff a success. So hopefully we get something there. If not, I'm fully confident this summer, outdoors, tennis and golf, we can get back, hopefully, in the swing of things there at least. So get back to some normalcy with our youth programs. Going down here to the golf course, you don't have it on here, but I wanted to mention, I want to thank Bill, Public Works. We had a leak in the chimney, and we were able to get that repaired at a pretty efficient cost up there on that roof. So, and Bill, we worked together on that. I thank Public Works for that. We get down here to the revenue. I think last time I was here, I'd said 73%. Still at an incredible, in my opinion, 67% increase over last year. Really, that 6% difference pretty much falls on that first quarter being so good. That July, August, September may have been the best July, August, September since I've been here. So it dropping 6% doesn't worry me. It's wintertime. That was kind of expected, and it will probably level off somewhat. But that 67% does show me we still got a lot of momentum. We're in a good place going towards the spring. The biggest thing, I talked about daily play up, memberships up, but probably in the warm weather there in October, November, probably more new players, new people we'd never seen, which is great. That's awesome. That's a great thing. Usually you get them back. My staff, myself, mention all the time, they're new. That's a new person. They come up, we've never been here. So a lot of new players, which is great. Now for the elephant in the room. About 10 days ago, we went out that's on number 4 green, which is a 2-tiered green. That's at the top, and that's what you call in the cleanup lap, which that's the best place that could have happened. That's about a 30-inch by 20-inch, about 1.5 inches deep. I call it a doormat chunk of sod taken out of one of our greens. That's, like I said, that's the cleanest form of vandalism I've ever seen. That was done. I mean, the edges are straight. That bottom sand, you can see that is level as can be. That stuff's heavy. I don't know if you've ever dealt with it. That's a heavy piece of dirt. Looks like they cut out in sections. But anyways, we found that about 10 days ago. Kind of panicked, obviously. Had some different options on the table, but I was able to get a hold of well, first of all, we talked about the Sheriff's Department. I talked to the Sheriff's Department and Michael Delano. They've been great. They've really got the word out on this, to deter any kind of future vandalism like this. I think people don't realize, that's taxpayer funded. That's government money. That can be a felony, and I think that's out there now, and people realize that, that's major damage. But luckily, I found a sod farm down in Morganton, North Carolina. They're called Pro Green. Talked to a guy named Barry down there. I think he was kind of perplexed too. I sent him pictures of what we had. He said, "Man, I feel sorry for you." He's like, "I'll cut you a piece for free." So didn't have to pay anything for that. And then also our chemical sales rep for Simplot, we order most of our chemicals from them, Jay Watson. I was telling him about it, showing him pictures, kind of, picking his brain on what we should do, and he just happened to say, "Hey, I'm in Charlotte that morning." He said, "I'll swing by and pick it up for you." So he brought it to us Monday. Wow. I got that put in Monday during the snow, and that's the repair job. Probably looks pretty good to you. I can, I'll always know that's there when I see it. Luckily, like I said, it's in a cleanup lap. That shouldn't affect play. It happened in the best place it could have happened, but the weird thing is just talking to different courses and through the grapevine. Meadowview, Cattails at Meadowview 3 weeks ago, same thing happened to them. Wasn't quite as big as ours, but he said it was, clean edges, level. They took a square out of them too. So I've caught other courses in the area, tell them to be on the lookout. They've not had the damages we have, but Cattails and us both got hit by the sod thief. I don't know what you want to call them.
Why would they want that? I mean, just a piece like that.
That's not just we've racked our brain over this. If somebody just took it home to try and start a green or start that, they're not going to be able to maintain. I mean, they can't. The height you got to mow that at, or the lowness of the height you got to be at, plus the chemicals and stuff. I mean, that's not going to live 2 months at somebody's house. We just really don't know. People said somebody cut it maybe out as a puppy mat for their dog to use the bathroom on. That was it sounds crazy, but I just don't know. Like I said, it is vandalism. But that just wasn't like a random child or teen, go out there and that was. Still got everybody puzzled on that, but
How far do they have to walk?
well, see, that's the thing. When we shut the gate, the closest accessible greens are going to be green number 3, green number 7. So you would think if somebody's wanting to just do something easy, they would go to green 3, which is, as you go up the hill, there's one on the left, one on the right. That's the 2 greens near the road. That is near the Moccasin Hills subdivision. So as far as accessibility, you do have some, you drove and parked, coming through there, you can get there kind of close. So, but when I talked to Mediview, it happened at number 14 for them, I think, and it's in a kind of a right in the back in the middle of the course top. I don't know, and like I said, there was no sand or dirt around it. They had done it. I mean, it was clean. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it looked like they know what they was doing.
They did.
They did. I mean, there was no there wasn't no resident. I mean, you can barely see a little bit of sand on the right side of the green, but anyways, we were lucky. We came out as lucky as we could on that, getting that fixed, because that would have been. We would have done a lot of labor. We could have got that fixed, but it would have took a lot of time. We would have had to. There's a lot of labor involved if we could have fixed that. So we kind of came out good on that. But I'll end here with the last thing I've got. All the seasons got switched around, so we're going to try to host some golf with the high school in March. That's a different time for us, but we always like having them there, trying to work with them as well, to have as many golf tournaments as we can for the local schools. And also working with Sean Becker again with Gate City High School to host another cross-country meet. That's been a really neat thing we've kind of got going. People seem to enjoy that. Gets people up there that haven't been up there and using the course and using the park. So that's about all I had today. Kind of a slow time besides the damages, but that's all I've got for today. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you. Good presentation.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. John Kilgore, EDA Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Quick for you this morning. Appreciate the opportunity to present the early development. You'll come up here in a minute. Of course, a couple of months ago, the EL Technologies made their announcement for Duffield, and on December 10th, which is a $375,000 investment, 160 new jobs. Their experience for the region in Scott County has been great. They've had over 200 applications that they have been through, and they've already started hiring, already actually started training. They've had a couple of training classes. They've got another one set up for the 22nd. They will transition from the training, and since we're still dealing with COVID, they'll work from home for a while and then move back in a facility later. But that's kind of the process, what they'll have to work through here till we get through this, get everybody with the vaccine and things like that, and they'll move in a facility. I also continue to work with the Riverside Development, which is, of course, in the Weber City area. We have some approved funding for a new site there, and we have to do a grant extension with VCEDA. I mean, we did a grant extension with Virginia Tobacco Commission. We got to do a loan extension with VCEDA at their next meeting, and that's how much funding we have at present. We're working with an engineer to try to get a better estimate on what we need for another site, and hopefully we can get that, and then we can move on and get a site developed there below where the T-Tech building is located now. And we're working with Lena Wisco on that. Hopefully there's some other funding options out there once we get that great estimate from the engineer. And it is an opportunity zone designation. That site and our only opportunity zone, and of course that's a picture of it, and it goes all the way up to the Roberts and then covers all that area there as well. So with the Opportunity Zone, the RIFA, the Regional Industrial Facilities Authority, and Leno Wesco, we partner with them, and we got a CDBG grant of $30,000 to assist with development of a regional opportunity zone prospectus. So that will help us market the opportunity zone, and it'll also help each county that participates to market their opportunity zone. So we have worked with Leno Wesco, hired a consultant, Thomas B. Miller and Associates, and they work with a couple others in Virginia on opportunity zones, and that'll be a good one for us to, they'll come and view our opportunity zones in the whole region, and they'll give us ideas on how we can market that better. And of course, Daniel Boone Wellness Trail Interpretive Center, we continue to work with them and to transfer this over to DCR. That transfer has not taken place yet. Takes a long time to go through the state process, but we have sent the documentation and we're waiting on them now. And we also continue to work with Virginia Tourism on the marketing of that center. Of course, they've had limited hours as well, but hopefully after all this and maybe this summer they'll start opening regular hours and everybody will get back to normal, we hope. And then the Stony Creek parking lot, we continue to work with DMME on this one, and that's the Appalachian Conservation Corps, so they will improve the trail going to the Devil's Bathtub. And they'll come in and they'll have a lot of volunteers, Appalachian Conservation Corps. They'll get volunteers from the county, from schools or whatever. So hopefully we will get that on target to get that done sometime this year. It's been a process to work through the DMME funding process. It's challenging a little bit, but we've been through it, and hopefully we're better for it at the end. It's similar to the VDOT process. If you've ever been through a VDOT funding process, so it's similar to that. I know Danny's smiling. He knows the DMME process. Yeah. One of the great programs, of course, is our RBEG, Rural Business Enterprise. It was a grant to the EDA so we could do a revolving loan program out to our small businesses. And we've had 29 loans approved to date, of which that's 543,000 of loans that have went out. So we've been able to turn the money over and revolve the money over almost 3 times. We only have about 200,000 in that. We've got 2 fundings approved from rural development. One was a little over 100,000, then we have another one about 100,000. So it has almost turned over 3 times. So that is great, and we continue. We just approved, or the board just approved 2 new loans in 2021. So the small business continue to grow in the county, and I think that's good that we have those small businesses growing. And that's all over the county. You know, we've Nicholasville, Dungannon, we've had them all over the county. We also been able to help those small businesses with the BC Capital, C Capital Grant Program. They will go work with the Small Business Development Center, and they'll get the business plan. Then those options are available for them, the loan and this C Capital. So we've had a couple get the 10,000 amount from VCEDA, and we've had in the last year, and then 8 total have received these grants from VCEDA. Bridging the Gap COVID-19 loans. This was the first one we started last year when this pandemic hit, and realized that small business would be suffering, and they continue to suffer some. So we've been able to help, not only with the county's been able to help, appreciate what y'all have done, but also the region's been able to help what Leno Wesco's done, and then what VCEDA done as well as through the EDA. So this was the first amount of money that was approved from VCEDA through the EDA, and that was 55,000. Those were loans at the time. We have worked with VCEDA to get those converted to grants. So that will be helpful for our small businesses. And then we worked on the Disaster Recovery Fund grant with your all's help. And we had 28 inquiries, and 18 of these were approved. This was the first round. 168,500 was distributed to the for grants. Then round 2, another 90,000 was dispersed, making a total of 258,000 for a small business, over 258,000. They're very appreciative of that. If you get out in the community and see some of those businesses, very appreciative of what the county has done to help them stay in business, help them continue to operate the county. And you can see that that's all over the county, that business help. You know, we have a higher concentration of business in the Gate City, Weber City area, but it's impacted all over the county. Lennowisco Regional Small Business Recovery Assistance Program, that's of course City of Norton is managing that process, but that's Lee, Scott, Wise, and the City of Norton. These are one-time grants up to $15,000, and we regionally at $1.3 million has been approved, $200,000 for Scott County, and then we have another round of applications that are due February 12th. So if you know of a business that is actually suffering and needing some funding, please ask them to apply. Work with Frank at Lennowisco. They can call our office. We'll be glad to help all we can. And we continue to, update websites, things like that. We've had 2 prospect visits, and we continue to follow up with existing leads. So we've been really busy with the prospects and businesses, and we appreciate all y'all do to help us. And thank you very much. Any questions?
One quick question, John. I don't know if you know the answer or not, but this $15 minimum wage, I've talked to a couple of business owners. They said it's going to kill them if they have to do that. And some are in the restaurant business, and so when that happens, and the prices, are going to go up substantially, they said, what they have. So what it's going to do for the retail business, I don't know. Here in the county, it's going to do the same thing here. If it goes to that, it's a big amount.
That's a large jump from what it is. That even if you think about that, restaurants, some of the restaurants are around the $9, $10 an hour range. You could go up to 15. That's a major cost on the bottom line. And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but Pals have already increased their prices on their food because they just went ahead and done the increase of the $15. It's going to affect the people that go in there that wants to get food. So all those people that go through the drive-through, so that's who it affects, because prices go up just because they pay more. The prices go up on everybody. Everybody has to pay.
I'm on the board at Clio board, and one of the last couple of meetings ago, the starting wage at McDonald's in Fairfax County is $19 an hour. That's at McDonald's. So we're not Northern Virginia. I mean, $15 an hour here, I like more money, but it's going to kill our small business.
Yeah.
So, you think about that, and what drives that $19 an hour is the economics of it. So economics will cause you to give pay raises, and they can afford to do that. But to force that on these people, one guy has 19 employees. He said, I don't know. He said, I can survive, but I got to raise the prices like what you said Pounds have done. So really there's no gain. The people on the fixed income, they're going to suffer the most. Their income is not going to go up. And some of them here on this board, our income is set, and you can't, you don't get an increase. But I'm glad for the people making minimum wage that they can get more money, but what's it going to do to our businesses in the long term? I know you're involved in a lot of this, and I know probably your thoughts on it, but it's not a good economic driver for Southwest Virginia to force that.
And one thing that's going through the House now as an impact on rural farmers is that they have a bill, $15 a wage rate for a farm worker. That will impact our farmers as well, cause their price to go up, and then food prices to the restaurants to go up, and then there's another hit on everybody.
I'm nothing official. I heard through the grapevine one of our local farmers said this is his last year of doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, we can't stand for another farmer to go out of business. That's how we get our food.
And I don't know where we're ranked now, you may know, but Scott County was ranked the 5th largest in the state as far as farming. I don't know where we are now.
It'd be interesting to see now. Yeah, we used to be 5th in the state. It'd be good to have ask that of Scott Gerald extension office. I'm sure he knows that, but yeah, one time we were.
So if that is their intent to force, people like that out of business, I mean, it's the consequences of a bad decision, the way I see it, and that's what is happening with this. And so I don't know. It's not a good thing. Anything else? Any questions?
Yes. John, on Riverside Development, where the county owns those bays down there at the old Robert Strawberry case, I've heard that they're wanting to buy them. Is there any, you know anything about that?
We have to go through an appraisal process, so we've advertised for appraisal. We didn't get any proposals the first time. We've got to re-advertise. So once we get proposals, then we can work through that, and that's what we got to do. But yeah, there's some interest in that, so we've got to get it appraised first.
Well, there's really no reason the county should keep them, I guess, is there?
No, I mean.
If we sell them, they'll go back on the tax base
Yeah,
and
they'll
start
be
collecting taxes.
they'll be on the tax roll, right? Yeah. But we still got to go through the process just to get it appraised.
And is there any good prospects on getting another business at Riverside Development?
Yeah, one of those that I mentioned is one for that property as well. One of the new prospects, two prospects.
I mean, we've had that property for 12, 14 years, and we need to get something down there to help with the tax base if we can.
Yeah, we need something additional. That's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
What about the call center up there? Is that going to affect, what's that going to do if they don't come back and pay the rent?
Well, we'll just have to work with VC if they don't, but right now they're transitioning to working from home. They cannot work if you go in that facility, or if you remember announcing that, how close they're working in there. They're really closer than you and Marshall working in there. So they've got to deal with a social distance. So they transition to home. So they're working from home. And I don't know if they do not go back in there in the future, then we'll have to work with VC to market the facility, since they have a loan on that, and get somebody else in there.
Well, they're making rent payments through June, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Through June, does that mean the county has to pick up those payments after June?
No, we'll just work with VC to get somebody else in there. We'll just do a pause and then work with them to get somebody else in there.
Don, just maybe out there and I missed it, but where's the medical records business going to be located when they get into a building?
More than likely, that's going to be in the Kruger Road Tech Center, but we're still working out the details on that. They are training in there now, so they like the space. They are training, and they're spread out in a room twice the size of this right here. So they really like that, so they can spread out and do their training.
The building that Darryl was talking about down in Weber City, is that on the road, or is it the one behind the business up on the hill?
That's one on the hill. Yeah,
I agree with Darryl. If we can sell it, go through the process. I think.
Well, no, that one's on the road. The one he's
That
talking
one's
about.
on the road?
Yeah, the T-Tech's on the hill.
Oh, no, I was talking about the
Yeah,
other.
it's on the road.
Okay.
It's right next to the road.
Do we own the building behind, up on the hill there?
On the building behind too, yes.
Are they interested in that?
Both of those are on the same plat. Yeah, they're on the same
So it's
plat.
two buildings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Kilgore? We do need to go into closed session with him in a few minutes on prospective industry, is that correct? So we'll do that in a couple of minutes when he gets through. We do need to go into closed session on that. So anything else for him in open session? All right, appreciate it, John.
Thank you.
Just hang around, we'll go in a few minutes. All right, item 16, moving pretty quick to that. Comments, requests, recommendations? Mr. Jigger, start with you.
I'm good.
Mr. Tipton.
Just thank all the staff and for what you're doing to help us look good and for helping our county. I think it's really important. Thank you, Bill, for getting gravel out to our solid waste centers, and of course that's always a work in progress. And we had some rain since then, and we still have some more potholes there. And so appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Brickman.
appreciate our staff. That's about all I've got.
Didn't mean to miss you, I'll eat you back. I checked you off too quick, I'm coming back to you. Go ahead.
No, that's all I've got. Just
That was a bit of
appreciate
order
the
before 8. Mr. Harris.
Yeah, I appreciate what everybody's doing. Like to say again what I talked about last meeting, our regular January meeting about our roads. You know, I think we made the right decision about just not supporting what they were wanting to do. But you know, I've been thinking about our roads. You know, those roads got that way because they decided not to keep them up. You know, that's somewhere in time they decided not to work those roads, and we really need to pay attention to our existing roads and not let that happen further. You know, there needs to be some sort of I know there's a 6-year plan about getting them paved. Everybody wants a road paved. That's all grand, but before those roads are able to be paved, they need to be on some sort of a maintenance schedule. You know, where VDOT, and I know it costs money. I know it's expensive. But they need to be on some sort of schedule where they go in there, put gravel on them, clean the ditches out, do whatever they can do to help maintain those roads. And I'm not talking about an every year thing, maybe every other year, just go in there and work on them. But you know, and I know the weather, you know, we got to understand too, this is one of the wettest seasons we've had, and all this little bit of snow, and then it rains, and it freezes, and it rains again, and it snows again. You know, all of our roads are a mess, but we need to try our best to find some sort of solution where they go in on these roads ever so often and just do a good maintenance on those roads. But anyway, I appreciate what everybody's doing. Looking forward to this year. Hopefully it'll be better than last.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Hood.
I agree with you on the roads. I get a lot of calls about gravel roads. But I am very happy about black gum. And some of the residents have contacted me this week in celebration, and they wanted me to say thank you to everybody on the board. They're very appreciative of us and everything we did, and I appreciate what everybody's done. Lena Wisco and everybody that's been involved in this process. That's all I have.
All right, Ms. Kirby.
I'm going to echo what you said about the black gum. I'm very excited for those folks. I know that's been a long process for them. It's been over a year, a couple of months now, I guess, since they've had water. So I'm very excited to see that come into fruition. And I do want to mention that there's a produce stand down in Duffield. If anybody doesn't know that now, there's a produce stand.
Good.
I was asked to mention that, so I wanted to do that. I appreciate all of the staff, and you know, it was an honor to work on that CARES Act committee. It is. To see that this morning, that was great. To see that we're able to help the departments and things, you know, here in the county, and keep that money local, put that back out to the people that are on that front line working for us. And I'm very appreciative of what our first responders and what they do, and I'm very proud that we were able to do what we did for them. So it was an honor to work on that committee.
Good.
It was a lot of work, and we met a lot, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of money, but it was for a very, very good cause. So I'm very thankful to work with the people that are on that too. So
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
And I was going to echo what Ms. Hood said about the Black Gun Water Project, and Mr. Brick and Mr. Tippett and myself served on Lena Wisco, and I heard last week that was going to come. It's hard to settle on good news. You know, when we hear about jobs coming, you got to settle on it. You can't say anything. But anyway, it was we had set on it, wait, and then they announced it there Monday that the last part of it was getting that grant from DHCD, $313,000 when it came through, and that was that's what they needed to make it happen. So probably the most appreciative people I've talked to when I talked to them after a Lena Wisco meeting Monday night, and they're just well, they haven't had water since Thanksgiving 2019.
Yep.
And so you think about that being without water for a little while, but they have improvised. They've done a lot to make it their lives as good as they could with what they had. The fire departments, you know, they've done well getting some stuff done, and Mr. Dixon's been up there at their houses visiting with them and talking to them. So this is going to be good. hopefully we'll have a groundbreaking type thing sometime in the middle of the spring. That's what they're hoping for. So when we do that, when that happens, I think it's a good thing to do. But those people are going to get water. So, and Little Wisco, they put money into it too. There's money coming from that, and it's from the Coalfield Water Development Fund. Money came from that, and then the DHCD money. So it all came together, and those people are going to get water. So anyway, this board here, the big part you all played in it, is all very important. And so anyway, it made it happen. And again, thanks to you folks that's making all this happen, make us look pretty good up here at what you do. And the one thing I wanted to say, I meant to call Mike Dishman when the auditor said what he did about our clean audit for that ended June 30th, and I meant to call him, and the comments he had for the PSA, how good it was managed, how their financial side of it, he was, and that usually don't happen for him to single out somebody and praise them for what they've done. So anyway, I will call Mr. Dixon. I meant to already. I said I was going to, but I didn't, and thank them for what they were managing the way they have. We've had a little differences with them, but anyway, when something good happens, I recognize that too. So that's just part of what we should do. Anything else before we go into closed session? All right, and let me read this. I need a motion to go. We have two items actually to go into closed session, and we need a motion to go in closed session. All right, Mr. Jeter made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Herron, second. So this board hereby enters into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711, being A1 personnel and A.5 prospective industry. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? So we'll go into closed session, and we'll go back there. Everybody's back.
We lost Stephanie.
Our coffee drink.
She's a coffee drinker. There she is.
Sorry.
She getting her coffee. Need to certify our closed session. Whereas the Scott County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provision of Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Scott County Board of Supervisors that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Scott County Board of Supervisors hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meetings required by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies. And number two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Scott County Board of Supervisors. Need a motion?
I'll make it motion.
Ms. Herron made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bricky, second. Need a roll call, please.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Tipton?
Yes.
Mr. Herron?
Yes.
Mr. Bricky?
Yes.
Mr. Mann?
Yes.
Ms. Hood?
Yes.
Ms. Kruby?
Yes.
Okay, we are back in open session, and a couple of items we need to do. We need to allow the chairman and our county administrator to sign the required documents in relation to a prospective industry coming into the county. So with that, we need a motion to allow that to happen.
I make the motion.
All right. Ms. Hood made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Tipton, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is to authorize the chairman to negotiate parts of the county administrator's employment contract. Do we have a motion to do that?
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Creevy made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bricky, second. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All righty, that's everything I believe that we need to do. And the meeting will adjourn here in a second. March the 3rd will be our next regular meeting, and so we need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Jeter made a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Tipton, second. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Everybody have a wonderful cold day.
Sally, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Marshall Bill's gonna pull that up for us. We'll go
Okay.
down.
Let's have a real